Hey there. This week's topic is one that once we start practicing, we can actually reduce the number of arguments we get into or tenseness between people, especially, those that we're close to. And today we're going to start talking about validation and exactly what it is, exactly how to present it, exactly how to live it in a way that is most effective for our loved ones and even for ourselves. So here is the deal with practicing validation. There are three things to remember that validation is not or doesn't contain a lot of. So number one, validation does not include solutions. That can be so hard because we see our loved ones hurting and we want to help and we want to do something. By taking action, we feel like we're doing something, except sometimes their need is not to have a fix. Their need is simply to just be understood, be seen, be heard, be felt. And it doesn't mean that it has to have a solution. So when we are in pure validation mode, when we are in a validating conversation, there is no solution. There's no leaning towards solution. There's no desire for solution. There's no solution anywhere within the conversation. A purely validating conversation contains no solution. And so because of that, there is very low to no curiosity. That's another one. And that actually, I'm feeling some visceral reactions actually saying that out loud, because those of you that have worked with me know curiosity is my magic pill. Like, that's the thing that I often use as the way to, find each other and find solutions and move forward and be successful and connect with each. Curiosity is usually the thing that's bound, except for during validation. During validation, our role is not to support our own need for curiosity, our own need for action or production or whatever it is. It truly is to just hold a space. So taking out the curiosity, your own curiosity, which also means low to no questions. This is not a time to ask all of the questions, ask for details, ask really anything. The only questions that are really valid during a validation, I see what I did there, during a validation conversation is, what else can I do for you? How can I best support you? Is there anything I could do, or is this enough? Those are the only questions that are considered validating questions. The rest are all about your own curiosity and your own focus and what you bringing your own agenda to the conversation. But when the focus is completely 100% on them, their feelings, their needs, then there's no need for your own curiosity. There's no need for your own fixing. There's no need for your own questions. So those are all the things that it's not, that can feel pretty heavy, because it can sound like those are the things, those are your go-tos, right? Those are what we do to show care. So what do we do? What do we put in the place of all of these tools that I'm taking away from you? I'm taking all these tools away from you. Okay, great, Nance. What do we put in their place? You put in there pure empathy, just 100% understanding their feelings and their emotions. You do not have to agree with them. You do not have to understand where they're coming from. You do not have to even acknowledge that the problem they're talking about exists. It's not about the thoughts and the mental piece. It's about connecting to them on an emotional level. Fuck. Sorry for that. I just let it have fun go in one of my videos. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but he's saying, oh, poopy, that really, really sucks. I am so sorry. I know what that feels like. I know what that emotion feels like. I know what it feels like to be in that type of situation. So notice how I'm not saying I agree with you. I'm not saying your thinking is correct. All I'm saying is, I know what that feels like. I can empathize with what you're feeling. You don't have to empathize with the situation to empathize with the emotion. So you're connecting to their emotion. You are fully in service to them. It is all about their needs, their wants. If something they says kind of triggers you, it's really noticing that they're in a vulnerable place and that maybe happen. But when we're in a place of pure service, none of that counts. Our own ego doesn't get in the way. We know that it may trigger things in us, but remembering that in this moment, during this particular conversation, not your entire relationship with them, but during today's conversation, this piece of the conversation, we're fully in service. And then the third thing that you need to actually do instead of, to fill in for the things I took away is you're just holding space. You're literally just sitting there and holding a vulnerable space for them to be authentic, for them to purge, for them to vent, for them to say ugly things, to do whatever they need to do to get it out, and just hold the space. You don't have to do anything with it. You just need to sit there and be an ear. You don't even have to absorb what they're doing. Like if you're an empathetic type person, put your bubble up so that you don't absorb their own emotions. You don't have to absorb them to empathize them. And you don't have to absorb them to acknowledge them, but just hold the space for them so that they can be what they need to be with a witness. They just want a witness. They just want another human being's eyes or ears, mouths to be with them. And that's it. You don't need to offer anything when we are of service genuinely, when we are empathetic genuinely, when we are holding space genuinely. We're not giving or taking action or doing anything. We're simply just being a witness to what they need witnessed for them to feel some type of connection and understood. And that's it. That's all it is. And then, okay, Nance, that's great, but then what? First of all, how do I know if this is a validating conversation? And how do we switch then? Like, okay, well, I'm not going to just sit there and listen to their stuff and not fix them. Well, here's the deal. Before you can go into fixing mood and shifting the conversation from validation to problem solving or fixing or anything else, here's the key. A truly empathetic, a truly validating person will always ask permission first before shifting the conversation. It sounds something like, I hear you. And I have some ideas of things that may be able to help. Is this a right time to have that discussion? Or should we maybe have it another time or not at all? But always asking permission before giving advice. Always asking permission before fixing. Always asking permission before finding a solution or even being curious about a solution. So that's a lot. This is a lot. And this is very different than most of us look at healthy, loving, caring conversations. This can feel like the opposite of that if that's what we're not used to. Bring it on. Bring on the questions. Bring on the concerns. This is like, next level. This is like advanced, relationship skills, communication skills stuff. So bring it on. Please, please, please. Share, like, subscribe, do all those things. But for you, please reach out to me with your questions, your concerns, all of those things around this. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next week. Bye.